Good day, Sir Blielos. Today I am making an improvised polygraph equipment using the indigenous material. Step 1. Paint a corrugative PVC pipe. Step 2. Use a tie back and form it into the beaded form. Step 3. Connect the tie box into the crocodile clip. Step 4. Connect a tie box into a corrugative PVC pipe. In the other tip, connect it to the nail. Step 5. Sew the upper part tip of the rope to improvise arm cap. Step 6. Attach the tie box to the rubber ball. Step 7. Cover the cartoon with a white cartolina and draw the port tracing pen to the chart. Step 8. Punch in the tip of the nail to the box. Number 1. Punch in the improvised pneumograph to the box. Number 2. Punch in the improvised cardio-spemograph to the box. Number 3. Punch in the improvised galvanograph to the box. And now I am going to discuss the four major components of polygraph and their function. And this is the pneumograph. Pneumograph have two parts, the pneumograph 1 and the pneumograph 2. The pneumograph 1 or the thoracic part of the pneumograph, and the second is the abdominal part of the pneumograph. The pneumograph component of the polygraph records the subject respiratory rate. One tube is placed around the subject's chest and the second is around the abdomen. These tubes are filled with air. When the subject breath changes, air pressure in the tubes are recorded in the polygraph. Number 2. This is the cardio-spemograph component. The cardio-spemograph component is composed of the following unit. Blood pressure cuff assembly. This unit is simply attached to the right or left upper arm of the subject. And this is now the pump valve assembly. This unit is attached directly to the valve, to the blood pressure cuff assemble and the sphygmomanometer. This unit is based on determining the gauge of the air supplied in the arm cap, while the pump valve assemble is one supplies the air to the arm cap, pumping to the tube. This is the third part, the galvanograph. The galvanograph section records the amount of perspiration produced. It consists of electrical sensor called galvanometers that are attached to the subject fingertips. The skin of the fingertips contains a high density of sweat glands, making them a good location to measure a perspiration. In this activity, I experienced how to make improvised polygraph machine using the indigenous materials and how to assemble it. I also learned of what is the basic function of the components of the polygraph machine and how to attach it to the subject.
Do you think that this activity is considerable to the academy in this present pandemic situation?
For me, this activity is considerable to the academy, especially this pandemic situation, because for me it is the alternative solution to guide a student on how to use this polygraph machine, even though we cannot proceed to the face-to-face class.
In this activity can be applied the time that we will go back to the new normal life.
Yes, this activity can apply when we will go back to the new normal class like face-to-face class, because it is the same as actual polygraph and its function. Activity 2. Simulation on polygraph examination. Preparation of the subject who is suitable for the ready examination. The person is subjected to pre-examination interview during which is purpose to aim the process of the polygraph examination to be followed. Should explain to him to his optimum understanding. For the satisfactory of the test result, the examiner should have the knowledge of the incident.
Babylon them thief my herb, them thief my herb.
The subject should be informed that he would be asked a certain questions and he is to answer yes or no. For these questions will be subjective in nature. The subject has nothing to be apprehensive about in his wrong study in interpretation of the polygraph test. But if he deceives, then that will be reflected in the test. In the second stage, he should be made acquainted with the question he has to understand. The question will show us to give yes or no answer. Ideally, not more than 10 questions to be asked to him. Initially, there are three categories of the questions: irrelevant questions, relevant questions, and the last controlled questions. Preparation of the subject prior to the test. The examiner should follow the following rules before conducting the examination. The appraisal of basic constitutional right of the person. Second, obtain subject consent to undergo polygraph test. Third, taking the personal data of the subject and evaluating the psychological preparation. Fourth, determine the suitability of the subject prior to the test. Fifth, inform his involvement to the case. And sixth, instructed to sit down properly. 7. Listen carefully to all the questions asked. 8. Answer the questions truthfully. And the last, must answer all the questions definitely either yes or no. This time, we're going the simulation of polygraph examination. This time, we're advising the basic constitutional right of a person. And this time, we're citing the RA 7438, Section 2, Paragraph B. According to RA 7438, any person for the commission of an offense shall inform the latter, in the language known to and understood by him, of his right to remain silent and to have competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice, who shall allow confer privately with a person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation if such person cannot afford the service of his own counsel. He must be provided with a competent and independent counsel by the investigating officer. Second, obtain subject consent to undergo polygraph test. I submit myself voluntarily for a polygraph examination. No threats, force, coercion, or promise about immunity or reward were used to get me agree to take the test. I understood that certain sensors must be put on my body during the test, and agree hereto. I am aware hereby give permission that the oral and written result of this examination may be available to. First, pneumograph 1 attached to the chest of the subject, and the pneumograph 2 attached to the abdominal part of the subject. Second, attach the cardio-spasmograph to the subject. Attach the improvised arm cup to the upper left or right arm of the subject. Third, attach the galvanograph to the subject. Attach the first to the index finger of the subject, and the second, attach it to the ring finger of the subject. Are you 21 years old?
Yes.
Are you live in Sandawa?
Yes.
Are you single?
Yes.
Are you having tried to steal money?
No.
Did you ever lose a phone?
No.
Did you ever get a money from your parents?
No.
Are you a good boy?
Yes.
On this activity, I have experienced how to put the instrument to the subject properly and how to simulate by advising the basic constitutional right of a person and obtain the subject consent to undergo the polygraph test. For me, it's a yes. It is considerable to the academe in our situation because it can be an alternative ways of learning even though we are not allowed to the face-to-face class. After doing this simulation in our home, I think I can perform it if we go back to the normal class by following the procedure properly. Good day, Sir Bilalos. I am Anthony Kodoy and this is my output in Crimtic 6 Laboratory, Activity 1 and 2.